Asia, the fourth most populous country. We have 240 million people. One of the biggest archipelago. We have more than 17,000 islands. So you can imagine how we can distribute all our fuels and LPG throughout these islands, including the small islands spreading from the western part to the eastern part of Indonesia. Well, this is the world's largest energy transition program. We have conferred 57 million households and micro enterprises. If you see in the charts, you can see that before 2007, or exactly 2001, the consumption of kerosene is more than 12 million kiloliters. It's burned for cooking. And it goes down in 2005, 2006, and in 2007, we consume about 10 million, or exactly 9.9 million kiloliters of kerosene. They're all burned for cooking. Even though it's going down for the volume of the kerosene, the subsidy went up. It's because of the oil price. That's why in 2007, the government of Indonesia got its initiatives how to reduce the subsidy. That's why there's an initiative for the kerosene to LPG conversion program. How we do that? We distribute an initial package free that consists of 3 kg cylinders, as you can see in the pictures above. This is the 3 kg cylinders, and you've got the stoves here. And all the accessories, including the hose and the regulators, they are given free for those people who are the criteria. There's a criteria from the government. What happened next? Since 2007, the volume of LPG goes up. And in 2015, we use LPG about 7 million metric tons. So it raised so much. Before we only used 1 million metric tons. That was for the non-subsidized LPG. Now we have 7 million metric tons through 8 years from now. Well, what happens? That's the effects. There's a massive new infrastructure built and thousands of jobs created. As you can see that before the conversions, we distribute only about 4,000 metric tons a day. Now we distribute about 20,000 metric tons a day. The effect of that, of course, is the infrastructures. We have a significant rise for the vessels. Before we only have 6, now we have 31, including the 2 biggest vessels right now, the capacity of 46,000 metric tons. We have 2, Pertamina on that. And the most significant rise is the filling stations. Before we only have 66 filling stations, that's for the non-subsidized. Now we have 557. Why is that? Because, again, Indonesia, one of the biggest archipelago, we have to build filling stations in so many islands so that they can get the LPG right. Well, as I said before, more than 90% of Indonesian people now are using LPG, but 87% of LPG sold today is in 3 kg cylinders. That is subsidized from the government. And in 2014, the subsidy has reached $3.4 billion US. I know this is a little bit if we compare with the kerosene subsidy before 2007. But this is a burden also for the government. And the government also burden for the electricity subsidy. It's 6.1, that's the biggest subsidy. While you can see in the chart for the kerosene, it has gone down for about $500 million in 2015. That's because before in 2007, that was 9.9 million kiloliters consumed for the kerosene. Now it's left only about 800 Perhaps by this year, it won't reach 800,000 kiloliters. Mostly it's in the eastern part and some separate islands that is difficult for us to distribute the LPG 3 kgs. Okay, the government wants us also how to monitor all these 57 million households who are using 3 kgs and how we monitor all those stocks, how we monitor all these distributions. Pertamina made some systems. There are 4 systems there. It's called SIM-on-top. That's a system to monitor our stock from the depot terminal before it reached the filling stations. We have also SIM-on-is, that's system monitoring for distributions. So we can see how much we fill in the filling stations and given to the dealers. And we also have the system that's SIM-OLEC. That's a system where we monitor how the distribution from our dealers to the retailers. Well, this part is organized by Pertamina, while the second part, in the right part, it's done by the local government. Well, because more than 90% people are using the LPG, we try to differentiate the package, the cylinder of the non-subsidized LPG. Before, we only have the 12 kgs and the 50 kgs. It's more than 40 years ago we had that already. In 2007, when people started to use LPG, we initiated the name East Gas with a capacity of 9 kgs and the 14 kgs. It's quite a lot. And in 2013, we also introduced the new cylinders. There's 2 colors. There's a pink one and a violet one. We made a survey, and mostly the women who made the survey, and they chose these 2 colors which are favorite to them. Pink one and the violet one. In 2014, we also made a new logo for the 12 kgs, and hopefully by next month, we will introduce one more LPG, that's 5.5 kg. Because what happens here, people are using the 3 kgs because it's very simple. They can pick it up, they can go, they take it for picnics, they can cook over there. So we'll make a non-subsidized cylinders, which is simple to use also, simple to carry, and that's the 5.5 kgs. Hopefully by next month we can launch it in Jakarta. Well, this is the next agenda for the government. That's why I'm very happy for the presentation from Mr. Lakshmi from India. The $3.4 billion that's been subsidizing the LPG last year. The government's made an agenda how to reduce the LPG subsidy. There are several schemes. We are facing for the direct subsidy that's been presented by Mr. Lakshmi, the DBTL. We'll try to consider, the government is trying to consider whether we can use this scheme or not. Or we can use closed distribution. We dare again all those consumers, all the people that are criteria for the people who needs the subsidy, and only them can use the products. Well, again, these implementations of the alternative schemes is as hard as the LPG distribution itself. As you can see in the picture, this is one of the way we distribute from one boat to another, because again of the islands spreading out in Indonesia. But above all these challenges, the kerosene to LPG conversion program has given the chance for everyone in Indonesia to have or to use a better fuel for cooking and a better energy for a better life, and that's LPG. And that concludes my presentations. Back to you, Kurt. Thank you.